What's up, everybody? Welcome back to World's Your Oysta, and I'm your host, Paula Sanders. And today we are diving deep into the world of beauty, fashion, bridal, and editorial power with none other than the incredible editor-in-chief of Birdie and Brides magazine, Hallie Gould. Hallie books some of the hottest names in the industry, like Emma Chamberlain. Have you ever heard of her? She just graced the cover of Birdie magazine. So I'm so excited to understand a little bit more about what her day-to-day looks like and what it feels like to run two major editorial magazines. Let's welcome Hallie Gould to World's Your Oysta. Hallie, welcome to World's Your Oysta.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited. Now, I know you're a very busy girl. I mean, you're running two major magazines, Birdie and Brides.
Yeah.
I need to know, first and foremost, how does one get that position? Did they come at the same time? Give us your journey there.
Yeah. So they didn't come at the same time. I've been at Birdie for 9 years. So it's been a long time. And then Brides about 2 years. So starting from the beginning, honestly, it was like I always knew I wanted to be an editor. It was sort of like my dream when I was 15 years old. And I was lucky enough that that was sort of like the time of, you know,
Joanna Cole's Cosmopolitan.
Exactly. And it was like The Hills and
iconic
like
times.
Those internships and those jobs were very much being sort of like displayed all over TV. So it kind of gave you a blueprint for how to get in. And then honestly, it was like I sort of fell into beauty. I wanted to do fashion at first. And then just took a job at a hair salon to pay my rent while I was freelancing and really sort of not only fell in love with beauty, but realized that I had so much more to say about beauty. I think it was just sort of there for me all along. And I just had to come into it sort of in this more organic way. And so getting to know the hairstylist and the makeup artist and seeing sort of like behind the scenes, I realized that was just sort of more my thing. And things just sort of went from there. With Birdie in particular, it was my favorite website just as a reader. And I was always like, oh, I love Birdie so much. It's so cool. It's so beautiful. I love everyone that works there so much. The editors were people that I followed, but it was based in LA at the time. So I was like, oh, I'll never work there. And then someone from Click, which was the company that also owned Who Aware and My Domain and Birdie at the time, reached out and said they were looking for an editor. And it was truly fate because it just was my favorite place. And then I stayed forever.
9 years.
Yeah.
So you worked your way from, was it a beauty editor?
I got hired at senior editor. And then I was senior editor for 5 years. So I think it was sort of my cozy job cocoon. I was happy there. I loved my boss, who is now still a dear friend. And it wasn't until she left and she got a new job that I was sort of pushed into more of a leadership position. And I think, you know, that stuff is always scary. I do think that I am often adverse to change or like being comfortable. And so it really took the push to get me to feel confident as a leader, feel confident sort of like making my own decisions, having that sort of autonomy over what was going on. And yeah, and then I realized I liked it.
So yeah, because you know how the sausage is made, right? You know, you were working for the company for 7 or 8 years. Walk me through the day that you get, because I think that we're around the same age. And I couldn't imagine one day like my boss walking into my office and being like, so you're going to be the CEO of this company.
Yeah.
So walk me through what that day is like, because that had to be absolutely surreal.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because it's like as these things go, you know, people stay, people leave, they move around in the industry. It's always sort of like constantly like revolving doors in these jobs. There are only so many. And Faith, who was my manager at the time and the editorial director of the site, she got a new job, as people do. And yeah, it was like I was senior editor, and then immediately I was terrified because I was like, oh my God, am I going to now be editorial director? I don't know how to do that. Do I even want that much responsibility? I'm so scared. And like her last 2 weeks, when she gave her 2 weeks notice, I was trying to like suck up every single last drop of every decision she was making, how she does this and how she does that and how she moves through the responsibilities. And I was still so scared. And it took, honestly, her leaving and me sort of like jumping off that cliff to recognize that like, I can do this on my own. And I don't have to think constantly, what would she do in this situation? I can think, what would I do in this situation? And I really started to have confidence in my own value and you know, my own perspective and my own decisions. And I think that was huge for me to realize that I could do it, that I did bring real value, and that, you know, I had been there for 5 years at the time. I knew what I was doing, and I just needed to have the confidence and recognize like it wasn't an accident that I was there. I could do it. And so that was really when the switch flipped for me. And then it really opened up a lot of opportunity in my sort of like career progression, because then it was like editorial director, senior editorial director, and then it became, you know, editor-in-chief and GM, and I took on Brides. And so it's been a crazy couple of years, and my job has changed in a hugely significant way. But yeah, it's like, it really was so much about me understanding that I could do it, and that I had value, and that I didn't need to kind of be trying to follow what someone else who I deeply respect was doing, but that I could come up with what to do on my own.
It's so inspiring. And I think it's so important for women to hear that message, because I think so many of us really get stuck in the imposter syndrome of it all. And it almost becomes so debilitating that we don't take the jump. We don't leave the job. We stay in the things that make us feel comfortable.
Totally.
So it's just so refreshing to hear that from somebody at such a young age was able to overcome that and to really feel the true value in themselves. And it's inspiring. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I would love to know too, like, let's talk about Birdie for a minute, because I think that everybody loves fashion. We'll definitely nerd out on bride stuff, but everybody loves fashion. Everybody loves beauty. And like you as well, I love the publication too, because it feels young, it feels fresh, it feels completely different than what everybody else is doing. And I truly look forward to seeing like, what is the viral almond hair? I mean, I saw, what did I see yesterday? It was like almond hair, right?
Yeah.
Almond, Lindsay Lohan has
I
almond,
was going to say it was Lindsay
hair.
Lohan, yeah.
Lindsay Lohan has almond milk hair. So if you can describe Birdie in like 2 sentences, what is Birdie Magazine all about?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's so many things, but I think the way that we try to come at storytelling is from the perspective of, we say, confidence, community, and joy. So that includes everything, like experimentation. It includes concerns like something's going on with your skin, or why is my hair not doing what I want it to do? So it's like a lot of service-oriented education, but then it's also inspiration. I want to get a manicure, and I want to look through 55 photos of manicures before I find what I'm looking for. And then it's also our team's voices. And so I think what makes Birdie so special and why it feels so like deeply embedded in my soul is because our team has so many different things to say. And I think like the way that you can kind of stay up on that, like, again, sort of like rotating door of trends is to really rely on everyone's different perspectives. So there's, you know, we all have different algorithms. We all have different interests. We all have different beats. We all like to experiment in different ways. And so coming together and being like, oh, we're all seeing this one thing. What do you think about that? Or, you know, what does it mean that everybody right now is interested in this? Like, what does that mean about what's going on in the world? And how can we come at this trend from a different perspective? So really, we're just trying to diversify some of the noise that people are seeing throughout the internet. Some stuff is just supposed to be fun.
Right.
Like we did post a video recently that just like showed our social team in a conference room with like different foods and like naming different nail trends. Like it is that. We are sometimes being silly, but I think like at the heart of it really is sort of like this way to feel really good, or to feel like you've solved a problem, or to feel like you bought something that you love, or to just feel like somebody sees you. I think what is so special about beauty is that it's so all encompassing. It's wellness, it's confidence, it's skin health, it's hair health, it's styling, it's, all of these millions of different things and things that everybody can really relate to. The way I like to describe it is that like we can't be everything to everyone, but we want to be something for everyone. So every single article on the site isn't going to appeal to you, but we're hoping that a few will. It's really because of our team that we can offer so many different diverse ways of thinking and talking about beauty and style.
And that's what I think actually is what makes Byrdie so special is your team. Because what I think that you guys, and this is, I don't know anything about media really, but what I think you guys are doing different is you're really humanizing that there are people behind this magazine and these are the people that work for us and these are their thoughts and opinions on this certain thing. Whereas that really is what they're doing at Vogue as well. It's just that their editors are behind the words and the images, but you're bringing your people out in the front. And I think it's much more tailored to like a Gen Z younger crowd.
Totally. It's always been so important to us and such a part of the Byrdie DNA to have our editors be forward facing. And I think it really makes people feel connected to you, where it's like, on Byrdie, I'm known for talking a lot about skin. Skin is my thing. So it's like, if we have similar skin types, then you can take my recommendations, or you know that I'm going to be doing a facial every once in a while and talking about it. Or like Star, our social media director, she's really, really into makeup. She's often talking about makeup. And I think like it means that you can kind of feel more connected to the people that are writing the content. And also from a service perspective, like follow the things that they're involved in because you know that you'll like it or it'll appeal to you or help you in some way.
It continues the story as well.
Exactly.
It continues the story of Byrdie because now you could have people that follow not just Byrdie, but also the people on your team. And they're always going to be talking about whatever they're going through, they're trying, which is a great way to just kind of be in people's faces all the time.
Totally. And I think also like in the culture of the internet right now, like influencers are so huge and as they should be. I think that this is sort of our way of providing influence as well. Like you can feel just as connected to or as influenced by an editor for Byrdie as you do by someone that you follow on TikTok or Instagram.
So speaking of all of that, you guys are omni-channel, obviously. So you have a hard magazine that comes out once every quarter?
We have a digital issue. We're online only.
Oh, you're online only. Okay.
Yeah. So we have covers that come out every quarter, but they're just online. And then we'll every once in a while have like a special issue in between the quarters so it's usually just to celebrate something big that's happening or someone that's doing something cool. Our most recent one was for Kelsey Ballerini. She was about to embark on her first arena tour. So we got to talk to her about that sort of as it was starting. And she was about to be a judge on The Voice. So when big things are happening, sometimes we'll do in between the quarters, but it's usually for a year.
So how do you as editor-in-chief of that magazine manage the time of yourself and your team on what we're doing for the digital and then what we're putting out on social media and what we're putting on the website?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot of content.
It's a lot. I mean, I think, again, it's really relying on having such a great team. Everybody has their different beats. Everybody has their different responsibilities. I think like the way that I structure my day that feels very important to my sanity is, or something honestly that I learned and took away from the pandemic that was positive is that like, I need a slow morning. And so that will set me up for success. If I can't have a slow morning, then like it all spirals out of control. So I'll wake up way earlier just to like have 2 hours to do nothing.
I do the exact same thing. You have to run me through your morning routine. I need to know.
So it's basically like I wake up 2 hours before I have to do anything. So I can like sit on the couch and drink coffee. I make coffee. The the quality of my coffee has become obsessively important to me. And that can also throw an entire day off. So,
okay, what are you drinking? What coffee are you drinking?
Okay, I'm actually happy to plug them because it's changed my life. But I have a Terra Cafe espresso machine. It's an automatic espresso machine, so you don't have to measure out the water or the beans or whatever. It grinds the beans for you. It makes a beautiful, perfect cappuccino. And you can change like how much grams of coffee they're putting in, how much water they're putting in. Like you can really tailor it to how you like it. So it's like deeply, deeply important to me. I have like a slow cup of coffee while I go through emails. Our days at work are so structured by meetings. I have meetings all day long. So I take those 2 hours to have like, okay, I can go through all my emails. I can respond to stuff. I can do anything that I have to do from the day before anybody sort of starts talking to me. And then once those 2 hours are up, then it's either getting ready to quickly commute into the office, or on days when I work from home, it's starting meetings then. And yeah, I think the way that we structure our content is scheduled out both like months ahead of time and then sometimes weeks ahead of time and then sometimes day of. There's some things that go up immediately. There's some things that get scheduled out. And sort of in between those times, we're planning and executing the digital issue. So like right now we're working on a digital issue that's launching in Q2. And so, it's like we're sending out assignments for those stories now, and then they come back in and then, they get edited and then they get the art. And so it's like things are always sort of like humming in the background of the day-to-day content. But we really keep a tight ship because, like you said, things are happening all the time. Things are coming up all the time. And I think like for me personally, I really have to structure my day in a very intentional way to make sure that I'm able to get everything done, because so much of it is taken up by meetings that it's like I literally schedule in how long it takes me to commute. I schedule in how long it takes me to get ready. Like I schedule in those early, easy 2 hours so that I'm not missing anything or I can feel sort of zen. And then on top of that, of course, it's like as beauty editors, we have events and dinners and all of that stuff. So it's a lot. But I think like my main thing that keeps it all doable is just staying like obsessively organized. And that's the best way for me to like stick to deadlines and be able to hone in on my time management and stuff like that.
So walk me through bringing to life one of your digital publications. What does that look like from start to finish? You don't need to get super granular, but I think it's very interesting to people to know like what goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot. And again, it's such a team effort. We start by booking the celebrity for the cover, and that is either, they have something to promote or it's someone we've been dying to have. Like we have a list of like, no matter what time, no matter what date, if they're around, yes, like, the Rihanna's, the Rihanna
And are you
list.
doing that outreach? Like, are you the one that's like trying to book these talents, or do you have booking managers?
We have our special projects director. He is our sort of like talent acquisition. So he knows all the reps and he knows all the shows and movies that are coming out, who's doing press, who's looking for a cover. So it all starts with him, and he does like the reaching out to see if someone like has the time or they can put it in their schedule if they're looking for a cover, if they're looking for press, all of that stuff. And then once we get a yes on a celebrity, then it becomes the creative stuff. So we work on creative direction. Our creative director and I work really closely because it's sort of like, it's hard with chicken and egg stuff where it's like, I do the beauty direction, she does the creative direction, but we kind of can't do it without each other. So she'll have an idea, she'll send it to me, and I'll be like, ooh, this is really cool. This gives me a good idea for the beauty. Or if there's something that I'm envisioning, I'll send it to her, and then she brings it to life. And we work really, really closely together. I'll be like, I'm sort of thinking something like this, whatever. And then we start the shoot planning. So we lock in the date, we lock in the glam, so like hair, makeup, we lock in the crew, like photo, stylist, all of that stuff. Our lovely photo director, Kelly, does all of that, the back and forth, the timing, all that stuff. And then once we have the creative direction, the beauty direction, the styling direction, all of that stuff, we send it over to the celebs team for them to approve it. And then sometimes that's easy. Sometimes there's a little bit more back and forth. But it's a really, really collaborative process between our whole team. Our social team then pitches stuff for them to do on set. And we really like to work with the celebrity's own glam team. I find it just really makes them feel really comfortable. It makes the vibes better on set. Everybody knows everybody. The team then knows what they like, what they don't like. And it really makes for like a positive, fun, sort of like family feeling experience on set, which is, I think, really something that is rare in the industry. So we really love to make sure that they kind of like have their people. And then once the shoot happens, then it's sort of like picking selects, picking the cover. And that's always like, when a shoot is good, you're so happy, but you're also like, how on earth am I going to pick selects for this? Like, it's like almost like devastating to have to cut anything. But then once we have images, then we're like more setting up the content. So it's like we come up with a theme for the issue, a theme for the content. We have the assignments out, the editors are writing or editing. And then that's sort of like how it all comes together. Then art for the individual stories, all of that stuff. So it really is like a months long process, and something that, again, like I schedule out to the minute to make sure that everything sort of like falls into place.
How do you take care of you in all of this? Like, I'm just wondering, I'm hearing the schedules, the time blocks. What are you doing to just zen out, relax, aside from your 2 hours in the morning, which I know I do the exact same thing. Like, I need those 2 hours as well. But do you have time for yourself on the weekends? Do you make it a priority, or are you like solely focused on bringing these publications to life?
I will say, like, I am pretty good at self-care. And honestly, my therapist said the same thing. She asked me that question and I like listed all these things and she was like, okay, so you take care of yourself. Like I said, I just schedule everything in, and that includes like tonight I want to watch 9 hours of reality TV and talk to no one.
What are the shows?
Literally name a show, I'm watching
Summer
it.
House?
Of course.
Housewives of New York?
All Housewives I watch. Summer House.
Love is Blind?
I don't watch any dating shows.
Oh, okay.
I've never gotten into them, and I know that I would be into them. It's
not even Love Island?
I didn't watch any Love Island. Love Island feels a little overwhelming to me because there's so many.
Yeah. No, I've only watched Love Island US just this last season, but it's so good.
I know. Everyone says that, and I do think I need to get into it. Reality TV is absolutely like the thing I spend the most time doing.
It's so pathetic, right?
It's just the
Isn't
best.
It so crazy?
Sometimes, someone described it to me once, and in a way that really made sense. And it's like, you're working all day, you're thinking all day, you're using your words, you're strategizing, you have like a lot to handle. And it's not crazy that then your favorite thing to do after that is just shut your brain off and like watch your funny friends.
Yeah, I just want to watch these women have rosé and yell at each other.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's relaxing.
I literally, like, I could watch a reunion show at 8 a.m. and the screaming won't even faze me.
No, I hear you. No, you got to get into Love is Blind. Love is Blind, because I feel like you're a very cerebral person, and Love is Blind is like very cerebral, and I
have to get into it. But yeah, other than that, it's like I watch a lot of TV that really helps me relax. And I really like make sure to do things that are not only going to feel good, but have like another sort of hook. So my favorite thing in my life right now that I do is I go get 1.5 hour long facial sculpting massages.
Where are we doing this?
Okay, this is going to change your life. He goes by Sculpted by Joseph on Instagram, and his name is Joseph. He is a dear friend. I've known him forever. He is a makeup artist also, so that's how I originally met him. And it is spiritual. Like, the results are so incredible aesthetically. Like, you are more snatched than you've ever been in your entire life. But I would do it even if there are no results, because it just feels so incredible. Anytime I feel tired or bad or coming off of like feeling sick or whatever, it fixes everything. He's incredible. But also, like, if you want to look good for something, if you have an event coming up or whatever, it is the thing that I've seen the most results from out of anything I've ever done. And it's really like, it's not about skincare. Like, I wash my face after. He just uses oil, but it's literally 1.5 hours of manual facial massage. Yeah. So he's like draining,
releasing tension,
draining all the fluid, like just like putting everything back where it's meant to be. And that is the thing that I like rely on for true sanity.
I love that. Well, you definitely know all the best of the best. So you're going to have to like drop best of the best for a sculpting facial, obviously there. Where is the best place to do lasers? Face lasers.
Okay, that's a good question. I don't do a ton of laser, but I have gotten great laser at Good Skin New York.
Okay.
The owner is this woman, Lisa Goodman, who's really great. I really vibe with the way she thinks about aesthetics. So the way she does injections, the way she does laser. She also has a skincare line. It's very like, it feels cliche to say natural, but she has an understanding of the way the face works that I think not a lot of people talk about. Like, if you're doing this, it's going to affect this. Or if you're doing too much here, it's going to affect this. And no one had ever talked to me about aesthetics in that way. So I've gotten Clear and Brilliant with her. That always has really, really great results. Oh, Nurse Tara does a really good Lutronic laser, which makes your face feel a little sandpapery for a couple days, but then afterwards you're glowing. Yeah.
What about eyebrows?
Oh, okay. I have the best eyebrow guy.
Tell me.
His Instagram is #IWokeUpLikeThis. He mixes color in such a way that is really important. So like, I don't wax my eyebrows, but I do sort of like get them trimmed a little bit and then tint them, which makes the biggest difference in the entire world. And it just makes every little baby hair kind of like stand out. It really thickens them up. And I find that like, because my coloring is more cool, when I go to anyone else, I feel like too brown will read red, but he mixes it in like a really nice, like ashy tone that is just absolute perfection. I get gel manicures from Primp and Polish, literally the one in Greenpoint. It's a couple blocks away from me.
Oh, you're a Brooklyn girl.
I never stray. Yeah.
I didn't realize you were a Brooklyn girl.
Yeah, I've been in Greenpoint 9 years.
Wow. Okay. Did you buy something?
No, I've just been.
I was gonna say, if you bought something, you'd be in good luck.
Imagine. No, that would be incredible. I've been in 2 separate apartments in those years. The one that I'm in right now, I've been in for 6 years. So that feels like my like true home. But yeah, I love Greenpoint. It just feels like the neighborhood that's for me. Yeah.
So beautiful. Yeah, I like those nails a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, I just get a regular gel manicure. Nothing super fancy.
So let's talk about brides a little bit, because everybody loves bridal. I was once a bride. I miss being a bride.
Mm-hmm.
When did you become editor-in-chief of that magazine? And did you have a passion for bridal? Was this something that fell in your lap? And how are you navigating that role as well?
Yeah. So around 2 years ago, I started working at Brides, and it was something that was sort of like things were shifting at the company and people were moving around, and it just made sense for me to work across brands. And honestly, it was an opportunity that my boss, Leah Wire, gifted me because, again, she knows to throw me off a cliff sometimes to get me to do things.
You have to really appreciate this woman, though.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously.
Genuinely, I owe her everything. She has been the best manager I've ever had and really put me in positions to let me shine so often. But yeah, so with Brides, it did sort of like come across organically. I have never planned a wedding. I was not very involved in the wedding industry at all. And in that way, it has been really incredible to learn the differences between the beauty industry and the bridal industry, because they're so different in a way that I never could have predicted. But I think with Brides, it really, again, is because the team has such incredible expertise. Our senior editorial director, Gabby, she really runs the show. Like, I am good at running websites and like knowing what is great for content, but she is the real bridal expert at the brand. And yeah, it's the same thing where it's like trends constantly. What's beautiful, I think, about Brides is that, like I said, like the audience is so different from Birdie. So it's an incredible learning experience. But it's also like there's so much tied up in it. Like, it's the most money you'll ever spend on a dress. It's the most money you'll ever spend on a makeup look. Like, there's so much intention. And in that way, the stakes are so high. So it does feel really fun to sort of like understand or come into people's lives during this time that can be very stressful, but can also be like incredibly exhilarating and exciting, and just all the things. So it's been a really, really exciting learning experience. And yeah, a real lesson in, you know, what works for one brand does not work for the other and vice versa.
Has Brides moved just to online as well?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no more physical brides?
Mm-hmm. I know.
And that's another thing that I wanted to talk to you about too. So I graduated high school in 2005. So you could guess my age. I went to college, I went to FIT, and I thought that I would work in magazines. That's what I always wanted to do while I was there. And my guidance counselor at the time there was like, Paula, don't go into magazines. Magazines are not going to exist in 10 to 15 years. And the truth is that they still exist. They've just had to pivot. So how do you feel about the industry as a whole?
Yeah. It's hard. I think like this industry is different every year, every month, every day. Like we're constantly, like you said, having to pivot. And I think it is exciting. Obviously, it's really difficult. I think like there feels like there's less stability in media. Obviously, things are always changing. Like you said, it's really sad when, a hard copy of a magazine no longer exists. But I think what I really feel connected to and really honestly love about our company is that ability to be flexible. I think because things change so often, if there's all this red tape, if it takes a really long time to get anything done, if you want to make a change, but it has to go through all these different channels, like we wouldn't be successful. We wouldn't be able to sustain that. And so I think like the flexibility that comes with keeping up in media, it makes the job feel sometimes more frustrating, but also like more exciting. And I always feel like you have to relearn things. You have to learn new, like it's constantly like there's a different app, there's a different platform, there's a different person to know, there's a different trend to know. It's really fast paced, but it's also like, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And I think I wouldn't have been able to be sustained for this long if it wasn't constantly different. So I think it really just helps you hone your skills because it's like, okay, yesterday we were doing that. Now, complete strategy change. Something has happened on the internet or something changed within the company or something like that. Like now we're going this way. And you kind of have to learn to keep up. And I think that really keeps you on your feet and keeps you feeling confident in what you understand about your job.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said there about the way that you go about handling those situations with your team, especially now younger generation is a little bit more sensitive than our generation. So it's generally difficult to lead. So how do you go about guiding and inspiring your team while they're balancing the insane pressures of this industry?
Yeah, I think I really try to listen above all. And I think listening helps you contextualize for anyone on your team. Like, I think I'm involved in sort of like more overall company strategy meetings than everyone on the team. So it's like sometimes you just have to explain, like, put it into context. Like, why is this happening? Why are we changing this? Why are we doing that? And then I think also like being really hands-on when someone needs support or direction, but then being hands-off when it's time for them to shine. I think the best advice that I've learned, again, honestly, through my boss, is that you should always be there when someone really needs you, but then you should always be gone when they're really doing their thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that is also a really beautiful thing about Birdie is that people stay. Like most of our editors have been there for years and years and years. And I think like that happens when there's room to grow, when prioritizing internal growth, career growth is really always a part of the conversation. I think it makes people feel valued and it makes people stay and feel connected to the brand. And honestly, it's why I've stayed for so long, because I've had so many opportunities. And I think it's a constant changing industry, but as long as you're there when people need you, but you're ready to let them take the reins when it's time, I think people really appreciate that. And I certainly have when I've been in that position.
Well, because we're all seeking validation, right?
Totally. Oh my God, totally.
It's all we really want, especially when we're in the workplace. But that's been the most valuable lesson that I've learned as somebody that manages people is to just let them be great. And that's what I always say, like to anybody that's on my team when they're getting catty about someone, no, she said, no, let them be great. Like let them have the autonomy to be great and to stand out. There's room and space for everybody. And
exactly.
But it takes a skill because it takes, especially like, you know, when you're in your mid 30s or your early 30s and you want to be the star, but like you are the star, but you can also let other people speak.
Totally.
And that's like sometimes a learned skill though, when you're first coming up. And I wish that it's like, so that's the stuff they don't teach you in school, right?
Yeah.
It's like how to navigate those types of situations. And like, unfortunately, we have to learn from making mistakes, right? And from having somebody be upset with us or something like that. And I found that when I just laid in the back, not that I'm not letting people walk all over me or anything like that, but when I took a step back and allowed my team to do their thing, everything was just better.
Yeah.
And then I had more room and space to do the things that I wanted to do.
100%. I think like that's what a confident leader does. Like I think when you're insecure about your value or about what you bring, then you feel like it has to be me, show that I can do everything. I think it's important to know what you don't know and to be confident in the value that you bring. Like, am I the best person in the room at doing a formula in an Excel sheet? No. Like, do I have to do that for my job? Yes. Yeah. But I'm comfortable knowing that there are other people who are better at that. And that's why they have their jobs too. Like, I think it really shows a lack of confidence when it feels like a leader doesn't have your back, or it feels like they're not giving you a piece of the pie, giving you opportunity, giving you room for growth. When anyone on our team has a great relationship, gets invited to an event or to a trip or gets a really amazing exclusive, like that's a feather in all of our caps. Like 100%. I want everyone to have those relationships, those opportunities to grow, because then they grow and that's only better for all of us, you know?
Well, it seems like you're fostering a really incredible environment there, because I know in sometimes the media industry, and we'll talk about Vogue culture, like it was a very mean girl. Like that's what everybody on the streets like said. It's like a very mean girl in our society. So it seems that you really are the anti that. And it's so beautiful for these people that work for you to get to come up in that way.
I hope so. You know, I think like it's also helpful that I did come up in this industry. Like I have done those jobs. Yeah. And so it's helpful to know what's really hard, what's really time consuming, what was the most annoying thing that a boss did, what was the most annoying thing that was asked of me as part of that position, because then you can come at it with more compassion when you are asking someone to do something annoying, or understand how much time it takes to do something so that you're not asking for a super tight turnaround. An understanding of the work that everybody's doing and recognizing when you're asking something that's really difficult or when something is no big deal is really helpful. And I think I have been able to learn from just remembering when that was something that was being asked of me or things like that. And again, it's like, hopefully the team, you know, feels that way. But I do think that coming from an era when I was coming up where it was scarier and people were meaner, you know, you didn't get paid for your internships. I take that trauma and I hopefully steer it into good in the way that our team works.
Yeah. Well, it's like I always say, I just want to be the boss that I never had.
Totally.
And that has always like, not that you get more bees with honey, but it's just like, I'm trying to provide everybody a value. If I'm coming to you and I'm giving you feedback, it's not because I'm trying to nag. It's because I honestly just want to make you better and make us better. And that's been, again, like something that's been transformational for me. So let's talk about memorable moments, right? Because I feel like you've had a lot of incredible, memorable moments. You just had Emma Chamberlain on the cover, which is like such a big get. I mean, she rules the world.
Yeah.
So walk me through what that day looked like and what it was like to work with her, and if there's any, you know, fun little tidbits you can give us.
It was so fun. I mean, she was so down. And like we were talking about earlier, it's a mixed bag. You never know. Like some people are really down to collaborate. They want to share ideas. They want to really go big with looks or the set or different things like that. Emma was really, really excited from the jump. She was sending us mood boards. She was sending us references. She really wanted to play. And that is so fun for us. Also, when, someone who comes from media, like she understands the camera, she understands social, she understands what works and what doesn't. So it was really fun to kind of like work with a pro in that way. And her personality is such that she's like down to get silly. And so it was a really fun day. And it was, again, super, super collaborative and definitely one of my favorite shoots to experience. But then the product, the result, I think was so beautiful.
The shots are incredible
Thank
and just
you.
so fun and inspiring, and the shots and images feel inspired. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm like, I feel like I've seen some of these images. They're super iconic, but she's doing it in her way, which is so new and interesting and fun.
Totally. We were trying to kind of like bring...
There was Madonna in there.
Yeah.
There was the Vivienne Westwood kind of... Was it Vivienne Westwood? Pat McGrath just did those like shiny faces.
Oh, yeah. So she did it. It was inspired by the Margiela,
thank you.
Runway look, which was so incredible. Yeah, that super, super glassy skin.
With the thin eyebrows.
Yeah. And so we really tried to make it feel like an artful shoot. Emma talked about how her dad's an artist, and we wanted it to feel like very about expression and sort of the way that art and beauty can intersect. And so we did sort of like 3 separate eras. So we had Renaissance, we had pop art, and we really wanted it to feel like you were sort of like walking through a museum. And it just turned out so beautifully. And Max Montgomery, the photographer on set, used all film. So it was incredible. The outcome was, it just felt like art. And it was also scary because usually we have a monitor, so you sort of like know what the photos will look like.
Right.
But because it was all film, we saw nothing. Like we saw test shots on the monitor, but it was like a complete surprise when the film came back, and it was just so beautiful. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of that one. I think it's one of our best.
It's so cool. What do you do on a shoot day that's not going so well? How do you pivot?
It's tough. I think that all we ever try to do is just like make someone feel comfortable, get them what they need. Sometimes it's out of our control. We've had talent that like wasn't feeling well, or something else was going on, or even like outside the studio there was like some sort of police activity. Like things can go wrong, and I think like it really is a testament to the team and honestly also the talent with how they deal with it.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed having to always have your finger on the pulse? Like I'm starting to feel old sometimes. Like I don't know who a lot of celebrities are all of a sudden.
I'm old. That again is really, it's
lean on the young kids.
It's
just
like,
listen to them.
We all have different algorithms. There's things I love. There's things that I'm seeing. It's completely different from things that they're seeing. And it's funny to talk about it because people are like, oh, I've seen this all over my feed. And I'm like, I've never seen that once in my life.
I know.
And so, yeah, it really is just such a collaboration because we have readers that are all ages. Like we do skew young, but also like we have a lot of people who come that are older too. And so I think all of those things are relevant. What I'm seeing, what our 23-year-old social media editor is seeing, like it's all important. And then I think where we meet in the middle is just like, okay, how are we reflecting this? Like sort of how are we meeting our readers where they are? So like people on TikTok want different content than people on Instagram or on the site. And while sometimes it's not that we're giving them different information, we're just packaging it in a way that makes more sense for the platform.
Where do you see all of this going? Where do you see the industry going? Do you think that you're going to have to pivot and only focus on socials? Because nobody's reading anymore.
I know.
Nobody reads. So what are your thoughts?
It's scary. I don't know. Like, I think nobody knows. I'm like ready for the challenge. I'm ready to pivot if we need to pivot. I think AI will become even more a part of everybody's lives. And I think that will really affect things. But there's things that we're doing at the company too to kind of like catch that wave and stay relevant as things change, as new things are invented or come out. We're trying to be proactive rather than reactive so that if something seems like it's getting big, okay, how are we incorporating this? But I think at the end of the day, like people will always have questions. People will always want to buy stuff and people will always want to be inspired. And so however we're packaging that information will obviously change over the years, but I think that intent will still be there. And we'll just have to find new and more interesting ways to give people what they want.
Is it a heavier lift from your team to just make a reel or a TikTok about a new product than it is to write a story about it?
We'd have to ask our social team. Usually what we do, I think it depends. It depends what it is. I think writing takes longer, but also not
Are you
even.
doing both right now though? So like say, for example, with the Lindsay Lohan almond milk hair that came out yesterday, I'm pretty sure I got an email about that. Are you doing an email about that, a social post and an Instagram reel and TikTok right now?
Yeah. So it's like we have meetings almost daily, honestly, to discuss how we're packaging content. And so if something is big, like a feature in a digital issue, we'll plan for, okay, what's the social component? How is that going to be different on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, whatever? What's the site component?
Pinterest,
I know. What's the site? And Threads.
I can't. I just want to give up.
What's the site component? How is it showing up in the newsletter? All of that different stuff. So like not every single piece of content has 100 different other sort of components, but most do. And our edit team collaborates with our social team, collaborates with our newsletter team, and all of that stuff sort of like works synergistically to figure out like how do people want to consume this and how do we get it to them in the way that feels good.
I love your sniff tests.
Oh, I love those too.
They're so cute. They're so fun.
Honestly, the social team's on fire. They're really turning out bangers.
I mean, I think there's going to be a world where that's the only way we're consuming. I really do. One of my colleagues is 28. She knows that I have a podcast. She's like, I only consume podcasts by watching clips of them. I'm like, she's like, I do not turn on Spotify.
What?
Or Apple. Yeah.
What do you do when you walk?
This is what I'm saying, but this is the younger generation.
I know, it's crazy.
We've got 10 years on these girls, you know? Like
I know. It's like, Bill, because people now learn about things on TikTok, research restaurants and places and vacations on TikTok, like all of that stuff. And I'm like in my Google Maps, like starring things, writing lists in my notes app. There are things I like to hold on to. And then there are ways where I'm like, yeah, this obviously feels easier. But I think like making sure that both things still exist. I think at the end of the day, people still want to feel connected. And I think that's why Substack is so popular right now. It is long form. And we talk all the time about how people have short attention spans and don't like to read anymore. But now Substack has gotten so popular that I think people just want to read different things. Like they want to read from one specific person that they follow and like and not feel, I think people have ad fatigue.
Yes.
Not feel like they're being marketed to all the time. And so to feel like it's coming from a personal place feels easier to digest.
I do have my theories about Substack, though. I don't think people are reading them either. I know I'm not reading them. I know I'm subscribed to a bunch of them because I follow them on Instagram and I want to support everybody because I love long format. I put out a newsletter every week. Like that's my favorite part of doing all of this is putting out my newsletter. I love that. But I don't think people are reading the Substacks either.
I am subscribed to a few that I don't read. See? And again, like you said, I just like to support.
I like to support.
But I do read other. It's not that I don't read like people's Substacks. It's just that I don't read certain sends. So I'll like something will catch my eye. I'll read it. I'll get caught up in something. But most of the newsletters that I read the most of are the ones that come with the podcast because I always listen to the podcast. Because I think that it makes sense. People are reading less because they're just like doing things or scrolling or whatever. But I think there's always going to have to be something you can consume while you're doing something else, like walking or driving. And so it's like you can't just be looking at TikTok. Like, I don't know, I guess people listen to music too. But I think there'll always be an appetite for real journalism. I just think the audience changes, you know?
So for young people that are either coming out of college or somebody that's looking to make a pivot, would you say get into media? It's still the place to be?
I mean, it is a roller coaster. So I think you have to be ready to pivot, to be flexible, to be doing something different today than you're going to be doing tomorrow. I think you can't be so precious about your to-do list and your job description and all of those things because it is constantly changing. But yeah, I think like this is still, no matter how hard it is or busy it is or stressful it can be at times, like this still is my dream job. This is what I dreamed about when I was a kid, and it's still what I love doing. And I think what I say a lot is don't get into it for the glitzy stuff. Of course, there's incredible perks to this job. Dinners and events and
free products,
trips,
galore.
products, all of that stuff. Like there's an incredible amount of perks that are super exciting. I'm not going to say that they're not, but the real work is in the office, and that's what people are judged on. So what's the work that you're doing? Are you hitting your deadlines? All of that stuff. And that's what creates growth and career trajectory. So I think just making sure that like you're down for that part of it. Cause I think people come in because they see it looks so cool. Honestly, it's basically what I did. I saw it on the hills and I was like, ooh.
That was where my next segue was gonna be like, well, you're literally living all of our hills fantasy.
It was my fantasy too. And I think just recognizing that it is so much work and you get to do all of this other stuff, which is such an incredible perk. I think you can't get into it just thinking about that part because it's never gonna work.
Well, I'm so impressed by you. I mean, I think that
you.
what you're doing is incredible, and you're doing it in a really beautiful way with your team, and it's a lot. So kudos to you. And also I really find it inspiring, like your confidence to just say like, fuck it, we're doing this. And I don't care if I feel like I can't do it. I'm doing it. And to me, that's very inspiring because I am someone that sometimes lets the imposter syndrome stand in my way. So thank you for fighting the good fight and inspiring me today. But before I let you go, we have to play Shuck It or Chuck It.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
Okay, so Shuck It or Chuck It is our new little games. Basically, I'm going to give you a bunch of different things. And if you're shucking it, you're going to keep it. And if you're chucking it, you don't like it anymore. Okay. Number 1, overlining your lips.
Chuck it. It kills me. I think that is the thing that people are going to look back on and be like, what was going on? Like lip liner, I think is beautiful. A little bit of a like overline that you can't really tell, like pouty, whatever. Wonderful. But I think when you look the super crazy overline that is very obvious. Yeah. It feels like chuck it.
I have the best tip though. If you do like to overline, Wonder Skin, they make this incredible, that's the lip stains, right? Just do it on the top of your Cupid's bow and just underneath your lip right here. Leave it for 2 minutes, take it off, and then put your liner on. That just makes you look like you got lip injections.
100%.
Truly. It's incredible.
I've heard that trick. I'm trying to think who we wrote about it. Someone like was talking about that trick, and I do that too. I'm 100% not against lip liner. I think it's amazing. I like it all, but I think there are sometimes you look at a person, you're like, that person is going to look back like this is a high school yearbook photo and be upset.
Or like, were you in high school around the times of the brown lip liner with the white Wet n Wild lipstick?
I wasn't, but I do think even that can be cool. Like I'm down for literally whatever you want your makeup to be, as long as it's like that lip line with the dark and then the light is amazing, as long as it's not like outside your mouth.
No, I hear you. What are you thinking about the return of the thin eyebrow? Shuck it or chuck it?
Shuck it. Love it. I think that everybody should have the eyebrow that they have. And I think like for a really long time, we were all trying to like go so big, fluff, so bushy. And that is my preference on myself. I really like a big, thick eyebrow. But I think to not be able to have a thin brow because it like wasn't trendy feels wrong. Like I think some people look incredible with it. I think it's also like a really cool way to change up your look. So like if you want to go thin and then let it grow back, it just feels like a non-committal, really cool way to feel like you're doing something. Okay. So I love it.
Okay. Blush blindness.
I have it. I'm keeping it.
Same.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny because I never ever used to wear blush. I thought it like made me look red and I wasn't into it.
Obsessed.
And something happened and now I'm like, the more blush, the better. It's the only thing I want. I love it. And I think it's going to stay.
I'm obsessed.
I love it.
Salmon sperm facials.
I'm going to shuck it. I've heard it's amazing. I've never tried it, but people say it's really good.
I'm ready to go. I was just waiting for some acne to clear up, but I'm going. I've been cleared. Beef tallow skincare.
I think if it works for you, more power to you. But I prefer a more
thin, not as thick.
I just like something that has like clinical studies and like,
sure,
you know.
Sure, we love a clinical study. We love a clinical study. I do have a little tip on the beef tallow. So a friend of mine told me to buy it. I bought it, opened it up. I'm like, this is going to make me break out very, very thick because it's like a bomb. Started using it on my chest. Incredible for the chest.
Ooh, I love to hear it then. Yeah, I think it's just, the thing about skin is everybody is different.
Yeah.
So it's so tough.
Yeah, very different. Capsule beauty routines. Paring down.
Yeah, I mean, I'll shuck it. I like to have a nice edit. I think it's nice to be able to have your like one-off things when you want to do something a little outside of your comfort zone. But I am someone who I'm always doing the same makeup. I am a like product loyalist. It's very difficult for me to incorporate something new. So yeah, I think having your tight favorites is good.
Okay, so since you're a loyalist, what is your favorite foundation?
Okay. Makeup Forever.
Okay.
Makeup Forever, I think, is a sleeper. Like, obviously, people know it and love it, but I don't think people talk about it enough. Their complexion products are really, really beautiful. They have one. This one is like, it's like their pro something dewy version. And it's my favorite thing ever.
I love that. Okay, last one. Shuck it or chuck it. At home laser hair removal.
I think there are some that work. And if you want to do it, I think it obviously is more accessible payment wise. But I think anything with a laser in the name, let a professional do it.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Well, Hallie, thank you so much for playing my game. And thank you so much for spending time with me. I know you're very busy. So this was so fun. And I think that there's so much for people to learn from you. Where can everybody find you on socials?
You can find me on Instagram. It's at GouldHallie and birdie.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Hallie.
you so much. This was so fun.
Yes, it was so fun. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.